everyone, and happy Pride. I'm David Hackhoff. I'm the executive director of NewFest, New York's LGBTQ film and media organization, and I am so thrilled to welcome you tonight to Pride Family Movie Night. This is we've had a lot of Pride events this month for NewFest. We have done all sorts of things, film screenings and shorts programs, but we've been looking forward to this one, I think, the most. We really love our youth programs, and we are so pleased to be able to partner on this program with Trinity Church Wall Street. Trinity Church Wall Street was introduced to us by the Department of Education. We got to tour their incredible space, Trinity Commons, right before the stay-at-home orders set in, and we can't wait to be able to get into that space and show some films in that beautiful space. But in the meantime, they've just been really incredible partners on this program. And if you want to find out more about Trinity Church Wall Street's youth programs, you can visit the URL that is going to be up on the screen right now. Look at that, the magic of the internet. We are also really thrilled to be able to work with the Department of Education. We've had a long relationship with them the last couple of years at our festival. We're probably best known for New York's LGBTQ film festival every year. This fall it will be October 21st through 27th. And we've done a teen shorts program the last couple of years in partnership with the Department of Education. And you'll see Eric Vaughn a little bit later in the show, and we are so glad to have him in that position. He's an incredible friend to NewFest. We're also really excited to work on this event with NYC Unity Project, which is the initiative of the First Lady of New York. You may have seen her give an introduction when you watched the film. And in just a moment, we're going to have someone to say a few words on behalf of NYC Unity Project. So we're thrilled to have you here, whether you're a student or a parent or neither, whether you're watching with your family or not. We at NewFest really believe that LGBTQ stories are vitally important, and we try to give them a platform and give the people who make them a platform. If you would like to bring LGBTQ film to your school, please get in touch with us. You can email us at contactus@newfest.org and inquire about a whole host of things that we can do with your GSA or at your school. So let's get on with the show. I'd like to welcome Ash McGovern. Ash is the executive director of NYC Unity Project to say a few words about that initiative.
Hello, and welcome to Family Movie Night. I am Ash McGovern. I'm executive director of the NYC Unity Project and senior LGBTQ policy advisor in the New York City Mayor's office. We are so excited to be co-sponsoring this event today with our friends and colleagues at NewFest Trinity and the New York City Department of Education. We know so many of our community members are out there fighting on the streets right now for racial justice and LGBTQ justice. And we also know lots of folks across the city and across the country are just trying to be safe and well during the pandemic. So we are grateful to be able to create this small space for folks to pause, reflect, connect with each other and family members if that's possible, and just to have a nice night to watch a great film. If you want to learn more about the NYC Unity Project, you can visit us at nyc.gov/Unity Project, or you can follow us on Twitter at NYC Unity Project. And you can learn all about the programs and services that we fund and support across the city, focused on tackling LGBTQ youth homelessness, building permanent supportive housing, creating more work opportunities for LGBTQ communities, making sure our healthcare providers are LGBTQ affirming and well-trained, and tackling the many forms of discrimination, marginalization, and violence that our communities have experienced and continue to experience. We want to make sure all LGBTQ people across New York City are safe, supported, and healthy. So please check us out, and please enjoy the film tonight.
Thank you, Ash, and thank you for all the work you do on behalf of queer New Yorkers. We're really grateful for the incredible work that you do. I have to my right or my left, I don't even know which way is up these days. Nick McCarthy, who is NewFest Director of Programming. Hi, Nick.
Hey, how's it going, David?
I am so pumped that we are here doing this. This is, you can attest to the fact that we have all just been kind of like buzzing with anticipation about this event.
Yeah, no, and with a film like Hearts Beat Loud, I mean, it just like sings to the soul and the heart and minds of everyone. So I hope everyone enjoyed the film, and we're so excited to have a conversation tonight. So thank you so much, David, for the wonderful introduction. And I want to echo David's statements too about the wonderful partnership we have with Trinity Church, Wall Street, the Department of Education, and the NYC Unity Project. So thank you so much, David.
Thank you. I hope everyone enjoys the conversation.
Hi, everyone. As David mentioned, my name is Nick McCarthy. I'm the Director of Programming at NewFest. Not like a programming like computer person as much as a programmer as a curator. So the Director of Programming gets to choose the films that we want to show. And we were so excited to be able to show a collection of short films that show the full spectrum of the LGBTQ experience at the festival every year in October. So as David mentioned, if you are interested to see more LGBTQ short films, please reach out to us whenever you can. We're happy to provide a bunch of recommendations so you can see yourself reflected on screen and hear a story that you may identify with, or maybe see a story you didn't identify with, but you understand and can make a new connection with. So that's what we love to see. So beyond that, of course, we are so excited to share Hearts Beat Loud with all of you. I hope you enjoyed it and your heart is still, let's say, beating loud. The film, of course, takes place in Brooklyn, and we love our New York City. And, you know, now that we're slowly being able to enjoy it again, I hope this movie gave you a moment to celebrate what is great about our wonderful city. It does take place in Brooklyn, but I know that we have people viewing from all 5 boroughs. So I want to give a shout out to everyone in Brooklyn, in Manhattan, in Queens, in the Bronx, and in Staten Island. So feel free to shout in the comments whenever you want, like call it your borough. I mean, we're all connected. Which brings me to Hearts Beat Loud. The reason why we chose this film is because we knew that, you know, it was about family. It's about a father and a daughter and their bond, but their bond is not always perfect. But their communication is in progress. So we were hoping that this film would really show how to open up. You know, it's not everyone's experience, but we really want to be able to foster this conversation, which we'll be having in a moment with some really wonderful representatives from the Department of Education. But I also want to note that Hearts Beat Loud is not just about family and dynamics, but it's about expressing yourself and expressing yourself through art. So hopefully the film may have inspired you to think about how you want to share your experiences with someone else. Maybe write a song to express that, or maybe make a film. You know, and when you make a film and there's an LGBTQ character in it, make sure to submit to NewFest when you're older. We can't wait to see your visions and hear your voices. Speaking of, we want this to be interactive. So before I bring on Eric and 2 other special guests, I want to note that you can make any of you comments in the box, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, and we'll make sure that we see them. Maybe we'll even bring them up on screen to be answered by our special guests. But don't feel like you have to just ask a question. Feel like you can say any comments you want. Maybe there's something that really touched you in the movie. Put that in there. We'd love to bring it up and have a whole conversation around that. So I'm going to stop blabbering on, but I do want to note, of course, that Hearts Beat Loud is about collaboration as well. And we had a really wonderful collaborative effort to make this happen. So I want to bring up the wonderful Eric Vaughn, the manager of LGBTQ programs at the Department of Education in a moment. But first, we're going to watch the trailer for the film to refresh your memory and get your hearts beating loud again. So here we go.
This is my band. You guys, this is my band. This is my band! How's it going, kiddo? It's jam sesh time.
No.
Come on. When jam sesh time arrives, we have to put aside childish things like homework and med school.
Please don't touch my thing.
It's jam sesh time. I have to close the shop.
I'm sorry, Frank. I held off on raising the rent as long as I could.
I mean, it's time. My girl starts UCLA in the fall. You can't make your heart feel like what?
Just a bunch of words.
I want it that way. They want what? What way?
I'm sorry, are you bringing up the Backstreet Boys?
It's actually a pretty good song.
We don't always get to do what we love, so we need to love what we do.
I never realized that was your secret.
Yep.
You've been trying to start a band with me since I was like 12. We're not a band.
We're not a band. I like it.
I don't want to be in a band. And even if I did, I'm not going to be in one with my dad. Usual for you?
What is this?
New indie mix on Spotify.
This is my band. You guys, this is my band. This is my band!
Okay, so what do we do now?
I mean, we could write another song.
This is so good. You wrote this. Yeah, with my dad.
Sam talks to me now like she's the adult.
It's just their way of making it easier for you when they leave.
We were right at the room.
Maybe you could take a year off and we'll see what happens.
Are you suggesting that I don't go to college so that I can stay and be in a band with you?
You have the same thing that your mother had. And if she were here right now...
No, you don't get to do that. Soon I won't be by your side. Give me. I've been here my whole life. I want something different. It's time to get away. Let's just do our thing.
What thing? We've never done this before.
Just do what we always do. Just in front of some people. Hey, that's what bands do, right? Let it go. Let it slip from the tip of my hands. Can I let it all
Hello, and here we have once again, for the first time after we've mentioned him so often, the wonderful Eric Vaughn, the manager of LGBTQ programs at the Department of Education. Hey, Eric, nice to
Hey, Nick.
you.
Thank you so much for having me on today and for putting this amazing event together.
We're delighted to have you again and to partner with you on this. I'm going to let you take it away and tell a little bit about yourself, as well as introduce the two guests after that. So, sayonara. I'll see you at the end.
All right. See you in a bit, Nick. All right. As Nick mentioned, my name is Eric Vaughn. I am the LGBTQ manager of programs and policies here at the Department of Education. It is so amazing that we get to come together tonight to celebrate, to be prideful, and to really come together as a community. A little bit about myself. I came into this role as the manager of programs about a year or so ago, with the goal and that hopes that we can bring together people who feel a little bit different, feel weird, feel like outcasts in school, really connect students who are part of that wonderful rainbow of LGBTQ plus together. I grew up here in New York City, in Harlem, and I remember being in middle school and high school and feeling different, feeling a little weird, feeling like I wasn't part of anything bigger and not seeing representation. So I know how important that is as I watch this movie and as we discuss this later on tonight, how important it is to think about community. And that's kind of the word and the thought that I went into this movie thinking about. I do want to give a huge thank you to the partnerships that we were able to form while putting this event together. It took a lot, but I'm so happy that we got to do this. NewFest, David and Nick, you guys are amazing. The NYC Unity Project and Trinity Church Wall Street. Thank you so much for being able to come together and putting this event on for students and families throughout NYC. This is exactly the reason why I'm in this role and why I'm here today, so we can bring together people who feel different and want to connect and want to build that community together. Again, I'm thrilled that we all get to have this during this quarantine. I don't know about you all, but I have been cooped up in this house and I have been wanting to celebrate Pride. So this is the perfect way to celebrate. This was the perfect movie choice to celebrate Pride. And without further ado, I want to stop rambling on. I'm just super excited that we're all here tonight together. I want to bring out two really amazing people that I've had the opportunity to get to know in the last year, Rhonda and Sariah. They're GSA advisors that I've been working with throughout the year to put on some amazing events. Hopefully you all came to the GSA Summit. If not, come to the next one. It's going to be bigger and better. But I'll let you two introduce yourselves.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rhonda Singh. I've been teaching now for 5 years. at the High School for Health Careers and Sciences in Manhattan. And I've been leading a GSA for 2 years now. And, I'm excited to be here and, lead this discussion with you all.
Hi guys, I'm Sariah Sicard. I'm a school social worker and GSA advisor at the High School for Community Leadership in Jamaica, Queens. I'm really excited to be here as an ally and just be really supportive of the LGBTQIA plus community, educate not only you guys, but also myself. And I'm really excited to lead this discussion with you guys.
Thank you. Thank you. I think we're going to start getting some questions in. Please feel free to ask questions, start some conversations using the chat box. You can also use YouTube and Facebook as well. So let's get started. All right.
Well, let's start the conversation, right? So, I really enjoyed this film, and the reason why I enjoyed it was because not only did it speak to the art and creativity and expression, I really felt that Sam did a really great job of staying true to herself, despite the discomfort of having this conversation with her dad, right? And being kind of like confused, like, hey, school, homework, college, music, art. And, I've always been a firm believer that, stay true to who you are, flaws and all. And I think that is a really great way to relate to Pride Month, right? It doesn't matter if you're the outcast, like Eric said before. It doesn't matter if you're different. It doesn't matter, who you love and who you don't love, right? Remain true to who you are as a person and remain true to your heart. And you'll always see the light at the end of the tunnel. So I thought that was like amazing.
I love that. I love that. Embrace your uniqueness, embrace your weirdness. Be proud to be an outcast. That's something, that's a message I wish I would have had when I was in middle school. I was trying so hard not to embrace those things that made me different. And those things that made me different, now that I'm adult, that's what people are drawn to. The things that I spent so long trying to hide from.
I definitely agree with Sariah's sentiment about being true. I wish, this movie was around when I was growing up in high school. I definitely tried to hide my differences and try to assimilate or be, normal. So I did relate to the character and was really happy that she stayed true to herself. And it's like a good message for everyone growing up in this time and moving forward, just to stay true and, not to be afraid of who you are, and be prideful, because it is Pride Month,
Yes, let's not forget it's Pride Month. Despite us being locked away, despite us being quarantined, it's still Pride Month. We still need to be proud that we've come so far. As a community, as a people, we've come so far. We still have a long way to go, but we can sit. This month is all about taking time to appreciate how far we've come and looking back at that journey and being appreciative. So the fact that we're able to actually sit here today and discuss this queer movie with queer characters, with my queer friend and ally here, makes me extremely proud of how far we've been able to come. Don't think this was happening 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, or even 2 years ago. So we've come a long way, and I want more of these conversations to continue to happen. I'm going to actually ask a question to you all, and then feel free to answer in the chat box. So what was the big takeaway from the movie? What was your big takeaway, do you think?
I think for me, it was definitely not being afraid to show who you are, but also managing, different things and learning how to navigate, your passion plus, like a hobby, and not trying to push off your hobby for something that you want to pursue. Like the character wanted to pursue med school or become a doctor, and I think from my perspective, I felt like she was willing to set her music or her hobby as a musician to the side.
Definitely. Definitely.
I think it's important, no matter whether you identify, you know, with the LGBTQIA population or not, like just follow your dreams, right? Push through. And even if it seems a little quirky, even if it seems a little different, that's okay. Like that's what makes you unique, right? And Sam did a really great job of doing that. But I think that it also opened up a conversation that may not have been as comfortable as she thought. But her dad was so like welcoming and warm and inviting, right? And you know, that may not be everybody's experience, and that's okay. But still, again, like I said before, remain true to who you are and stay true to your heart. Eric, it looks like we have a question. Why do you think seeing LGBTQ stories on film are important?
All right, and feel free to type your responses. Oh, it popped up right there. And also feel free to type your responses to these questions. We want to hear from you all as well, not just us talking. So why do you all, the students, the families, who anyone watching this broadcast right now, why do you think seeing LGBTQ stories on film is important? But I want to hear from you two right now. Why do you think that is?
For me, I think representation matters. It's important to see yourself plus, you know, other representation on film to help break down stereotypes and biases that may exist. And then, you know, people relate to people that look like them or are like them. And I know me personally, growing up, I didn't necessarily see LGBTQ stories portrayed in film, or if I did, I was not of age to watch it, or I was not, you know, 18 at the time. So I think it is definitely about representation, and you know, learning and keep on learning.
Blah blah said representation matters. Yes.
It absolutely does. Like, I think it's important, especially like in short films, movies, primetime television, right? For us for families to create an open space to have conversation. And that household may not necessarily have someone that's a part of the population or identifies that way, but hey, let's spark a conversation, right? Let's talk about the scene on TV that wasn't there 10, 15, 20 years ago, right? You see two males in love. That's okay. And it's beautiful, right? It's creating this new narrative that it's love is love no matter what, right? And again, sparking this conversation within households that may not necessarily understand. And then it'll lead to the education component, right? What does that mean to you? How do you feel about that? Why does it make you uncomfortable? Let's talk about it. And I think that to me is, especially as an ally, that's really important. You know, it's okay. And it's our normal, and it's okay. We love you no matter what, you know?
Love what Kimberly just said. Representation is so important, and it helps us feel like we have a voice. So true. I definitely remember not feeling like there was anyone like me and feeling alone out there. And I think a lot of people who are part of the LGBTQ plus community know what that feels like. It's feeling alone and not realizing. So seeing yourself represented whether it's on a TV show, on a movie, a song, it matters. And like, even though you think it might, you know, like it might not matter, there's some kid watching, there's somebody who is seeing themselves in that character and is smiling on the inside. So I think it definitely matters. All right, we have another comment in the chat box. I love how different characters in the film use art and music to process grief, show their emotion, and connect with others. How do you help students process their emotions and be truly seen in GSA?
Oh my God, that's amazing, right? So as a social worker, there's a lot of processing, reflection that goes on, at least in my GSA. And even not, I still have a lot of students of mine who don't come to the meetings. But my office is that safe space, and we do it through art, writing. You know, I'll give them like prompts, whether it's writing or drawing or painting, or, you know, sometimes just coming into the office and screaming and yelling. I always tell my students that use your emotions and feelings, no matter what they are, good, bad, ugly, and flip it, right? Create that as an energy to be productive. If you're good at something, whether it's cooking, whether it's, you know, creating a clothes sample or drawing, put that emotion into whatever your niche is and let it blossom. right? Our hearts are real, no matter your age. Our feelings are raw, and it's okay to be able to use those feelings and turn them into something that can be so beautiful. And so I think that that's important that Sam did that. Like, she turned her feelings into music, no matter her hesitation, right? She's like, what about med school? What about school? What about homework? But she produced some really awesome music, and I thought that was beautiful.
The music was amazing. We'll talk about the music in a little bit. The music was super, super dope. Any comments, Rhonda?
Yeah, so first of all, I want to say if your school does not have a GSA, you should get together some students or some of your peers and go to your principal or assistant principal or a teacher and say that, you know, you think that a GSA is important. And you explain to them why having a GSA and a safe space is important. I know for myself, my GSA is that safe space. You know, I have students that are not out to their fellow peers, but in our GSA, they can, or in our community or in our space, they can feel free to be who they want and be true to themselves. And, you know, in that safe space, this is how we help, you know, teach or train my students how to use their emotions to help drive change and see things the way they want. And also expressing themselves, like Sariah said, in different aspects. Like, we do different activities. We do dancing. I've taught them how to Vogue. You know, so it's like using your emotions in different ways. And so, yeah, once again, if your school does not have a GSA, I highly recommend, you know, you bring that up to your administrators, your principal, your assistant principal, for the next school year.
Definitely, please. And if you need help getting it started, please email me at lgbtq@schools.nyc.gov, and I will help you get started. We need more GSAs next year. That's our goal. That's my goal that I set for myself upon coming in here, is to have more bigger GSAs to make NYC schools a bigger, gayer school system. So I need your help. I can't do this alone.
Right. And
right?
a GSA advisor doesn't have to be or have to identify in the community. Like I said myself, I'm an ally, right? I'm a heterosexual woman. However, I found that a lot of students who did identify needed extra support. And it was something that I wasn't necessarily privy or educated on. And I said, you know what? Like, these kids feel safe with me. And so now I'm going to jump in full-fledged, right? And I took a jump in the deep end of the pool, and became an advisor. And that's how I met Eric and Ramdat, right? And we have grown so closely, like Eric said, within a year. And I'm an ally. So don't second guess yourself. If you have that staff member that you're really close with, that you think that is a safe space, ask them. You'll never know until you ask. And if they say no, then hey, they say no, but then move on to the next staff member, because someone will say yes. And that's okay. Eric, there's another question. They said it can be hard to talk about sexuality with your parents. In what ways did the father in the film model healthy ways of communicating with Sam?
Oh, that's great. Did anybody who's watching this live see any healthy ways that the father used to communicate with Sam? And please, again, feel free to chat your responses in the live comment box or Facebook or using YouTube. We'll get them all.
So I guess for me, the most previous one was through music. That was a way to connect with his daughter more. Soraya, you want to jump in?
Sometimes music, I want to comment on that. I feel like sometimes there aren't any words. have been experiencing that feeling with a lot of tragedy lately in life. Sometimes you just don't have the words, and that's okay. Like, it's okay not to know what to say. I think when I came out, no one knew what to say. No one in my family knew what to say. But like, being able to have music or have a show to watch or have a movie to watch or have gestures to make, nonverbal or using artistic expression as a way to. So I really like that, Ramdat, that they were able to find music as a way to like bring them together. And we kept seeing that throughout the movie, right? They kept like drifting apart and having these arguments, but the music is what kept bringing them back together.
Right. And communicating is not always verbal, right? So there's so many different ways to communicate. Nonverbal cues, facial expressions, writing, drawing, making music. And I think that's how the father kind of found his connection or reconnection with Sam on something that he may not necessarily knew too much about. And one thing that really stood out to me that he asked, is it a girlfriend or is it a boyfriend? And to me, that symbolized him being open-minded to the fact that it may be, you know, a boy, but it may also be a girl, and he's okay with that. And so I think he used that window to effectively communicate something that may not have made him the most comfortable, but he was open and willing to have that conversation. So even in difficult times, again, I will go back to saying, remain true to who you are and always express yourself in the best way possible, and remain true to your heart. And, you know, like I said, there's a light always at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, I like that. I like when he asked, I remember that part when he said, is it a boyfriend, girlfriend? I think he represents what we like aspire to be, and what I aspire my parents to be, and what I think we could all do. Like all the parents watching, all the future parents who are watching, don't assume that your kid is anything. You know, let them tell you and be open to whatever their information they're going to share with you. So even if you have a kid and you think they might be heterosexual or they might be gay, don't assume. Have them like lead that conversation. Students know, young people know who they are, what they want, what they like better than this group of like kids. I don't even want to like to call them kids. This group of young people nowadays are so aware of what's going on around them, so much more than my generation. So I let them lead the conversation. Tell me what you want to go by, your pronouns, and I just try not to make any assumptions because we never know. I think that's that's a
good tip, Eric. I think to lead with your preferred pronouns, right? That's a way to start a conversation. What do you mean preferred? What's a preferred pronoun, right? Yeah. And like you said, we don't give our young people enough credit. They are aware. They're conscious of who they are as people, as young as, you know, who knows, kindergarten, first grade. So allow for that expression and start conversations in different ways. So I think preferred pronouns is a great way to start a conversation. Absolutely.
And on the topic of, you know, pronouns, you know, Eric uses he, him, I use he, him, and Sariah uses she, her, but there's also they, and that, you know, so it's important to use people's correct pronouns.
Rhonda, this is a question directly to you. She says, thank you for sharing. Teaching Vogue and exploring emotions with students sounds amazing. How can I connect with other GSA advisors for activity ideas?
So you can feel free to reach out to me personally, and I'll happily connect and share. I have like a whole year's worth of activities, and I'll happily I'll share it with you. But I know once you start a GSA, you come and join a very close-knit network of GSA advisors, spearheaded by the amazing Eric Vaughn, who's right here. We do have a Facebook group as well, and we always bounce ideas off each other. And you know, GSA advisors will post like pictures and ideas of things they're doing. So all the ideas all activities that I have weren't necessarily created by me. They were also shared by other GSA advisors. Because, you know, I'm a queer person of color, but I don't have all the ideas or activities for, you know, let's say if we want to talk about pansexuality or, you know, any other group within the LGBTQIA plus community. So we are a very tight-knit group. So if you start a GSA, you'll be invited to the GSA group as well.
And when you start a GSA, you come to the GSA Summit, and that's how you meet all of these other GSA advisors and club members. And the GSA Summit is like an amazing event. This year, we had over 1,500 students across the 5 boroughs come, and it was amazing. So please, please, please start a GSA. If you can't start a GSA, that's okay. Get in contact with us, and we will definitely connect with you. Because we even invited students of the LGBTQIA population who didn't even have a GSA, right? But they needed a community of people that they felt safe in, and that was what we had. So we, unfortunately, quarantine and Corona kind of like rained on our parade for this year, but Eric, Ramdot, and I are a part of an amazing committee with the DOE that provides events all through the school year, sometimes in the summer, for you guys. So definitely reach out to us and join the Facebook group, and you can email any of us or Eric, and he'll redirect you to us.
Yep, the Facebook group was just actually posted. So email us. Ramdot has one of the most successful GSAs I've ever seen in my entire life. So email him as well if you want to get some directs from the man himself, direct advice. So we have some more comments that just came in. Someone said they love the biracial character. Same, dope. Not only do we have queer representation, but we also have like different nationalities and races being shown on screen. In that intersection, I talk a lot about intersectionality through my work. Is hugely important. We know not all. When I remember thinking about like the first gay people I saw on TV, and it was Will and Grace, right? Like I remember seeing Jack, and you kids don't know what I'm talking about. That's so sad. But maybe the parents watching this and the adult know what I'm talking about.
I'm not laughing at you, Eric. It's okay. I'm not laughing.
I know. I just age myself. But Will and Grace, and I never saw that intersection of like what it means to be a person of color and queer, and like do they exist? So like that's dope. I love that comment.
Pride is intersectional, you know, and
Right.
it's important for us to recognize that it is Pride Month, and there is a whole intersectionality of this movement as well. So that was a pretty awesome comment.
Yeah, we have another comment as well. How can we create better resources for parents to be prepared to support their LGBTQ kids? That's great. We're actually looking at doing some parent support groups, and again, use that LGBTQ email address. I'm going to be sending out. Number one, this is going to be the first of many things that we do with NewFest, and we're going to keep this conversation going. If you're interested in being more involved, setting up committees to work with other parents, I'm super excited for that. One of the things that we've talked about was getting, we have the GSA Summit for students and faculty, but we don't do anything for parents. So how can we bring parents into that? So that's a conversation that we are hoping to have. I think we have another comment. There will be more movies, right? Movie nights. Yes. When the world opens back up, I want to see everyone that's on here today. I want to give you all hugs and watch some good movies. If you have not been to the NewFest Short Film Festival, you have missed out.
Right.
It's the most amazing opportunity to network with other students, to meet other faculty. It's just a really cool opportunity. Last year, they had 8 different movies. All of them will showcase queer youth of color. A lot of them took place in New York City. It was amazing to see the students' response to that. I remember one night the students were going wild. So we definitely are going to replicate that. We're definitely going to make sure that happens despite COVID. If we have to do it online until it happens, that's cool. I like this format. This is actually way better than any Zoom call I've been on.
Right. Hello.
Right.
Can we just shout out NewFest again? Like,
yeah, NewFest.
Between the short films from the summit and now this, like, I am totally a fan. I am grateful. Like, it's awesome. I really do. I'm appreciative.
100. Yes. I hope that was in response to NewFest. NewFest has done amazing things to make sure. Oh, we have another comment coming in to make sure students are feeling affirmed and represented. In the climate of today's society, it is so important to see queer people of color represented in the media, and I love it. Yes.
Absolutely, Kimberly. Absolutely.
It's so important. Again, that intersection, right? Like we see this happening with the All Lives Matter movement, and I am literally in Facebook wars with family about why there was a trans Black Lives Matter march, and why it's because we have to show representation and although we say Black Lives Matter, a lot of people in that conversation are not including trans lives in that conversation.
Right.
We need to include trans lives. We need
Absolutely.
to include queer lives. We need to include brown lives. That is an all-encompassing statement when we say Black Lives Matter. That's not just Black, straight males. That's anyone who fits in that glorious rainbow that I like to talk about.
Exactly.
That LGBTQ rainbow, that LGBTQI rainbow. We have an ally in the room with us today. So definitely want to shout her out. But yeah, any other? Oh, you know what? The last question I wanted to talk about, and please feel free to chat about it as well. How do you feel like Brooklyn was represented? New York City was represented in this movie. Do you think they did a good job, like showcasing New York? Is it your New York, or do you think it was like out there? I live in Brooklyn, and I was like, oh, I don't know this place. That's not my Brooklyn. I'm in Bushwick. That didn't look like. I know they were supposed to be in Red Hook, but that didn't look like Brooklyn. And they were supposed to be broke, but they had the nicest apartment I've ever seen.
Right, and it was a dope music store. Let me tell you.
Oh yeah.
We don't even have those anymore. Do we even have music stores like that anymore?
I don't think
records.
I don't think they exist.
Right.
I think Amazon put them out of business.
I think the iPod put them out of business.
Yeah, the iPod. It was that long ago.
True. Very true. And the iPod actually wasn't that too long ago if you really think about it.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Hey.
Do you all listen to records? No.
Spotify.
Okay, like no record, like you don't have a record player?
We have a record player, but we don't have no records.
Records are coming back, actually. It's coming out as a trend. I see people buying record players and records now.
Definitely. I actually bought a record player, and it's inconvenient, but it sounds, I get it. It's the nostalgic sound that people want. I saw people recently selling cassettes.
Wow.
Like, yeah, those late 80s, early 90s cassettes. So everything, you stay around long enough, history will repeat itself.
I think we got one more last question or comment. Eric, how are we all celebrating Pride this year?
Oh, I want to hear from people in the inbox. How are you all celebrating? I'm celebrating. I'm going to be at this march on Sunday. Rhonda, you coming with me?
What march?
The Reclaim Pride.
I'll come.
Yeah, come with me. I don't know.
I went to the Black Trans Lives Matter protest in Brooklyn a week or two ago. So totally.
Okay,
I'm definitely down for it.
I want to send out a message to teachers tonight about getting us rallied up for it. But it's a Reclaim Pride event for Black Lives Matter. So it's a way to be prideful, to be happy, to be around your people and around that community, but also to pay attention to what's going on now and not take your focus off of what a group of people that need help at this moment. So you can still be proud. You can still have pride and do something good and make a difference in the world.
Right.
So
Pride,
that's what I'm celebrating.
Pride was a riot. So we're going back to Pride's roots.
Right. Exactly.
All right, you feeling your Marsha Johnson? Yes.
Oh, there goes Nick and his records.
Who is that, Nick?
My record player.
A record player.
Yes.
Thank you all, Eric, Rhonda, and Sariah, for being here and leading this conversation. Thank you all for attending, for experiencing this film. I want to echo what Eric just said, too, about the Queer Liberation March this weekend for Black Lives and against police brutality. Please stay safe. If you're able to go to the march, wear a mask. We would love to see you there. I know there's going to be a lot of intersections of communities and organizers coming together. So we hope to potentially see all of you there, or you can still advocate from home safely. And one other way to advocate safely from home is to recommend other queer films to your other friends, to anyone else. Search it out. You can always go to NewFest and look up what we've shown in the past, or reach out and ask about any, especially targeted towards high school age students, any background identity. We have a film for you. So I want to thank Eric, Rhonda, and Sariah again. I want to thank the New York City Department of Education overall. I want to thank Trinity Church Wall Street, and I want to thank NYC Unity Project as well. And we can't wait to do this again. I'm already thinking of so many films we can't wait to share. So I want to thank everyone again. Any other closing marks from Eric, Rhonda, and Sariah that you'd like to impart on our wonderful, wise audience?
Anything?
Thank you to NewFest and Happy Pride Month.
Right.
Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
Lives do matter, and I hope to see you all at that march on Sunday. Wear your mask, as Nick said. Keep some social distance between yourselves, but yeah, let's get out there and show these people what we're about.
And be true to yourself as well.
Yes, self-care is the best care.
Self-care.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you, Nick.
All right.
Thank you, NewFest.
Thank you, NewFest.
Thank you.